25th. Do another recap of the Sinquefield Cup, round 8. I won't start for a few minutes, give people time to show up. I asked the powers that be to either put me on Chess TV or raid me, but, doesn't mean they will. I'd say this was the most boring round of the tournament. Let me clean my glasses. All right, chat's getting downhill here, making less and less sense. So we'll look at the games. So when Jeffrey's paired up, he's got 2 patents. There's 2 things he does. He loses, like badly, or he's better or winning and then he draws. That's what Jeffrey does when he's paired up. When he's paired down, he wins. But when he's paired up, he's either winning and draws, or he just loses and he played terrible. So this is one of the winning draws that he had today. This. Okay. So he played c4. They transposed to some kind of Queen's Gambit. a6 is a move. It's been played. Not that common. Mikan at X1985 subscribed. Good. Yeah. Okay. Fabio might disagree with what assessment? Oh, yeah, that game was ridiculous. Yeah. Watchful Prism subscribed at tier 1. All right. Takes bishop f4, trying to make this move look silly. Mamedyarov, wants to take on c4 and play b5. That's why he played a6. So we just played the bishop f4 line where a6 is in sort of quickly. And then he plays c5, which, saddles him with an isolated d-pawn, but he literally doesn't care. Okay? So these isolated d-pawn positions are fine. Yeah. Now, in this position, you can play d4, but you're still a little worse. And Mamedyarov doesn't want to draw against a low-rated player. So this move doesn't have any good long-term prospects. It's just like, you probably draw, and you're worse. So he just, didn't do that. He just wanted a position, and then he'll play a position. Now, in this position, White played rook c1, so this move is, should be interesting. Unfortunately, it's not, because of very long tactical sequence, which is queen takes, defending the bishop. And now when you finally win the bishop and White's up a pawn, the bishop on e2 is no longer defended. So knight takes d5 just loses. You can't play knight takes d5. Now, probably you don't want to play knight takes d5 even if it worked, because knight takes and knight takes f4, and black's not worse there either. Okay, Jeffrey played queen c2, which is a very weird square for the queen in these positions. You usually want the rook on the open file and your queen to go somewhere else. But I guess Jeffrey couldn't find anywhere else. Queen b3 is the most natural. The engine says queen b3. Maybe he was annoyed by knight a5. I don't know. But yeah, queen b3 is more natural because you put more pressure on, this pawn. Why he didn't play queen b3, I don't know. I mean, I assume if he thought this was coming, or he thought d4 was good, then the queen's maybe not so good here. Bishop e6 is coming. Okay, but I mean, queen b3 is pretty natural. Play queen c2. Now you got to be, now you better watch it here. So, okay, bishop a7, rook fd1 makes a lot of sense. Bishop e6 makes a lot of sense. Yeah, knight e5's a move I would barely think of here. I'm not saying it's bad, but you want to have domination over the d4 square. This sort of gives it up a little. One of the good things is you can play bishop f3 and put more pressure on d5. The engine says knight e5 is good. h3 is good. That's probably what I would play. Give lift from my bishop, take away the g4 square. Okay, so he played knight e5. Engine likes that better. Rook c8, reasonable. Bishop f3. The engine doesn't like bishop f3. It actually wants to take this right away. And the reason is, if you take with the pawn, you're just losing your a6 pawn with no compensation, and your rook is trapped. So you can't take with the b7 pawn. So you have to take with the rook, and then it wants to play bishop f3. And, White's better, because, pressuring this pawn. And, black is just defending. It's not a loss, but, black's obviously worse. And Jeffery played bishop f3 with similar intentions. Queen a5. Again, the engine wants to play knight e7. It doesn't want to let this knight trade happen. And that pins the knight. The knight can go to either f5, or if the knight is removed, g6. And this is a hard move to play because it looks like the knight's bad on e7. It blocks the rook. So he played queen a5. He's Mamedyarov. He's going to play an aggressive move. Queen d3, which is very, again, one of Jeffrey's problems when he plays higher rated players is he builds too much. He doesn't go for the throat. And this move allows black to equalize. He should just take the knight and then play the same way. But in the game, he allowed knight e7. And, this knight's sitting here, but it can't go anywhere. We've, whoa, what did I do? Damn. We, it was some kind of like, whatever the web page is. I do that like once a year. I accidentally click something and it does that. So we unleash the rook, and we avoid trades, which black wants to do when he has an isolated pawn. And now it's hard for white to do anything because his knight is sort of blocking his bishop. It doesn't really have anywhere good to go. The knight just sits there and it can't really move. It's hard to get more going on. And that's what he did. He played knight e7, realizing this was the moment to leave white sort of, not in a good position to do anything. Conversely, if he plays knight takes, later he can play bishop e5. I don't think black wants to get that kind of pawn structure. And if he moves the knight away, the d pawn's more weak. Bishop here could happen, blockading again. So it's just a better move, knight c6. Okay, so now they're equal again. Played h3, putting it in h. It's very hard for white to do anything because his knight is sort of stuck here. He'd rather have it on d4 than could go here later. His bishop is open. b5. Yeah, and the engine doesn't really prefer white at all. It's funny, I've noticed in my own games when there's an isolated pawn position like this, and I think like I'm doing great, the engine's like, nope, equal. It literally doesn't care. And figuratively. Poodle Yoke subscribed. I know who that is actually. That's Dwight Yoakam's dog. You probably didn't know that. Yeah. Watchful Prism subscribed. I think I already mentioned that. But in case I didn't, he subscribed. Which pawn's isolated? This one on g2. I mean, it's not anywhere near these pawns, right? So, yeah. Terrible. Also this pawn. Okay. a3, boring. And d4 fully equalizes. Takes with a rook, which the engine hates. I must admit, I'm not sure I would even consider that move because bishop takes is so natural. In fact, the engine line is to always repeat. And then it says bishop somewhere and so forth. Yeah, just repeat. That's one of the engine lines. Rook takes d4 sort of odd. It's not bad. It's not the best move. Jeffery finally got his knight out of here. And now the rook is stupidly placed. This defends the bishop. And more importantly, he wants to play bishop e5, which is annoying. So if you want more information on annoying, you can ask Karen because she's married to me. So, yeah. Yeah, I sympathize a lot with Larry David. All right. Okay, so he always retreats. Knight b4. And white's just better here. The queen is sort of offside. The bishops are working well together. The knights are working pretty well together. And, these pieces are, can't really do very much. Now, it should be a draw, but, it's better to have white here. Okay, he played knight g6. Engine doesn't like that move. And the engine doesn't like that move either. It wants to play bishop g3. Again, when Jeffrey's better, he often just throws away a lot of his advantage. This move is a very safe move, but if you play bishop g3, you're really killing this knight, and your bishops are just controlling all the squares. And the knight on g6 was controlling d5 and c6, and now it's not. So, like, knight c6 is threatened winning the exchange. Because, the queen and rook are here, and the bishop defends. So bishop e3 is just not a good move. He traded rooks, which is also bad. Never trade. So basically, it's a bad game. Players didn't play very well. Casper VLD subscribed. Probably getting tired. It's round 8. Okay. Now Shaq has to play like Shaq because his name's Shaq. What? What's happening? Was that an error and he meant to do 99.99? What's funny was it wasn't anonymous. It was a non-mouse. It wasn't anonymous. It was spelled funny. Wait, what just happened there? But that could have been an accident. It could have been 99.99 and he typoed. So let's get confirmation. Anonymous, yeah. Yeah, I don't want. Sometimes when people donate a lot of money, it's a mistake. Yeah, somebody donated $2,000 once. They meant to donate 20, but they didn't understand the decimal point or whatever. They got tricked. Yeah. LV20SWD subscribed. Hooray. Yeah. I don't know. That was $1,000, but sometimes it was on purpose, and this is to happy birthday. Thank you. Wow. All right, I'll have to go tell Karen. Sometimes when those things happen, it's because of some kind of fraud. But it looked like it wasn't fraud. So it looked like he was serious. Thanks for the birthday. Oh, yeah, the guy who gave $2,000, we gave him his money back immediately. He said he meant to do 20. Yeah. Not going to take people's money. Yeah, that guy seemed to mean it, though. You missed it twice. All right, let me go get Karen so, she's happy. Yeah. I hope he donated once more since I left. Have you ever done marriage counseling? Have I? I guess not. My current wife and my ex-wives all wanted to do marriage counseling, but the first two wives found a better way to deal with it. Okay, so he played knight c6, and not engine approved. And when I show you why, you're going to donate another $1,000 like this guy just did. See, another $1,000.
That's to other daddies.
Another $1,000.
What?
Yeah, I just said he's. Well, come on.
I'm reading. I don't multitask very well.
Go, Karen. I just said it. I said he was going to do it.
Don't listen to you. I was looking at Cooper's. Yay.
Now, normally when this happens, it's not real, and it's charged back, and it's like something weird.
That's never happened.
No, not with us. It happens on other streams.
I know.
Yeah. It's never happened with us where somebody has a fake credit. We haven't had that happen until now. No.
Aww. Yay.
Okay, now, so the knight's attacking the queen, and he wants to get the two bishops vatals, and he wants to play knight here check winning the rook. He's got all kinds of stuff going on. So Mamedyarov sacks the exchange, very bad move, okay? Mm-hmm. And the reason he sacked the exchange, will always sack the exchange, is he wanted to play queen c7. Okay, and there's an amazingly brilliant move here that Jeffrey missed. It's brilliant. So you see how this is going to be checkmate, and then this bishop is hanging. However, the bishop is not hanging. And Jeffrey knew the bishop wasn't hanging because he let the guy take his bishop. If you take the bishop, I play rook check, and then I win this bishop. Okay, so Jeffrey made a very bad move here. He's actually probably winning if he moves his queen to c2. And the reason is that gives his king an escape square. So you can't mate me because my queen's not on e2. right? And in this position, you can't take on g2 because my bishop is still here. So this doesn't make any sense. And if you take the bishop, I check and take the bishop. So white's up in exchange, and the engine plays like king h8 here. What kind of move is that? Right? So white's very close to winning here. And Jeffery must have realized that this wasn't a threat because he can check and win the bishop because he stopped queen h2 check in a bad way. Like it's losing a pawn. So it's very bad. So he's still drawing, but he's close to winning if he plays queen c2, if not winning. And g3 is also better than f4. I mean, f4 is just a bad move. So knight takes f4. Queen d2 is also bad. And now Mamedyarov played the only move you would think of. You wouldn't think of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the best move. It's the only move that draws. Now, white's up in exchange, and this bishop is attacked. The knight. I almost knew what it was called. Mm-hmm. And queen d8 check wins. So queen d8 wins, bishop takes knight wins, and this is why Jeffery played f4. He saw everything, and he said, now I'm winning. And he's right, except for one thing. Mamedyarov found the only move that draws. But this is the best move of the game. So I'm going to watch this. Mm-hmm. How do you save your knight and stop queen d8 check? The answer's crazy. But Mamedyarov's good. So I don't blame Jeffery for not seeing this because it's crazy. When you have an engine going, it's really easy. If you have an engine, easy. If you don't have an engine, not easy.
I don't know.
Right. Watch this.
All right.
Knight d3. Now, you agree it stops that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now he wants to come in here. And the reason it's knight here instead of another knight move is when you take the knight, and I do this checking thing, you can never go to these two squares with your king because bishop c4 wins your queen. And that's very important. That's why knight here. The queen takes. It's on this diagonal. The king has to go here and here, and it's just a draw. Yeah. White can't go here or here because he loses his queen to bishop c. So that was genius. And I think Jeffery didn't understand knight d3, miscalculated it, and he thought this was just winning. Mm-hmm. He's right. This is just winning, except this move draws. So he was right if this move didn't exist. He thought this is winning, and it is. But knight d3 is brilliant. Mm-hmm. And then it's a draw. Frankly, ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
What's funny is if you play bishop g3 check, hoping for one of these moves, and then you win the queen, king f3, very safe. Right? If you don't believe me, who should you ask? Dustin Hoffman. He won't give you the right answer, but you can ask him.
Hi, Chickabuga.
And the engine says that white is winning.
Grandmaster Gowry, how's it going?
It's Gowry. So yeah, Jeffery thought f4 won, and I think he just didn't look at moving the queen away, so his king has luft. I think he looked at g3 and f4, and he's like, oh, I'm winning here. I'm the greatest, right? He said, if I keep winning these games, Ben eventually, it's not going to happen, will pronounce my name correctly, Xiong, but I'm not doing it. Although Crush did it. Also, I think it's Crush, but nobody would ever say that. Even her. Yeah. Even she would, because Crush is like solid. This is a very strange stream, the last few minutes. You know why?
No.
Nobody's donated $1,000 in the last 5 minutes. Gowry, you missed it. Somebody donated $1,000 3 times in a row. And they had a really funny name, Any Non-Mouse. So it looked like anonymous, but it wasn't spelled like anonymous. It was to look like that. Yeah.
Yay.
I think it was Mighty Mouse. That's what I think. Now, it could have been Jerry.
Yeah.
You know who Jerry is?
Mm-mm.
Tom and Jerry. He's a mouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what?
You were thinking Jerry from Rick and Morty, I assume.
No.
Yeah, I know. Jerry's the dad.
I know who Jerry is.
Oh, okay. A non-mouse. It's not Irina, it's Irina. Yeah, everybody knows that, but we say Irina because we're in America. Yeah. Anything but a mouse. That's true. Anyway, that was pretty interesting game for a boring draw. It wasn't a boring draw. Probably the most exciting game.